Grapple fans, and welcome to this special edition, sort of special edition, of the Lost Art of Wrestling.
Kayfabe.
Last minute plan due to...
Fuck you both. It's 2019, can we not start properly?
No, we'll start off. We'll carry on, we're going on. It's just a day in time, thank you very much.
One of these days, Buncle, one of these days.
It's all right, now I'm getting in on the app now.
Yeah, one of these days I'll forget to say kayfabe. It's not going to happen.
The people will rejoice. The handful of fans we have will rejoice.
Yeah, parade down one of the one of the side streets.
There'll be more uproar than when Okada took his pants off at Wrestle Kingdom because he finally got rid of the pants.
Yeah, you see, I think it's more likely that they will parade me round the streets as I crowd surf around their saviour.
They'll parade your corpse.
The man who returned kayfabe to its rightful place.
I was thinking maybe stocks on the back of a flatbed so people can chuck shit at him.
A titan among men.
But Bunkle just there, sort of repeating Freddie Blassie's bit about time from WrestleMania 17 to him.
Time!
So yes, you bitch. So of course, I am your host Coxie, joined via the media with Skype by the baddest man, the baddest man, the baddest man on the planet. Signed, sealed, delivered. He is a former Dazzler.
Yeah, never meet your heroes.
And he is also, of course, Rogar in Gunpowder Trees and No Pot. It's
he always
the boy
rolls
Bunkle.
high.
Currently dying.
It's that Pot.
So get hated before I announced him. Of course, the other voice you can hear, also joining me by the medium of Skype. He is a man who is half a man. Oh, it's an echo. What else do I call you?
Apart from dickhead, I think that's about it.
Yeah, there we go. It's Paul. It's Paul, the guy, Flinders.
That's the one. That's me. That's me. It's TG. Doesn't work. Yeah, I'm the guy, formerly known as the hat guy.
You have to call yourself like TFG or something, like the fucking
TFG.
guy.
The fucking guy. Yes, I like it. TFG. Yeah, I like it. I said, oh yeah, the fucking guy. It'll do. Or the fat guy. There you go.
Oh dear. So how are we, gents?
Good. Now our tickets have arrived because it was what shall we say? It was a bit of a.
You had a clenched bum all.
We did. Well, it was brown alert for a little while because Eventim was like, "Oh, we don't know what's happened to your tickets. Not arrived yet." Bear in mind this was Tuesday and we're recording Thursday, and they got dispatched Tuesday night and they arrived Wednesday morning. So
yeah, definitely a squeaky bum time.
Yeah, what the fuck, though? I mean, seriously, yeah, if they could get them out that quick. I mean, there was people out there who had their tickets 3 weeks ago.
It depends on who you book through.
It won't be Eventim again.
To be fair, you probably got a better deal than like people pay through Ticketmaster, no doubt. So
This is true. I mean, we paid, I think we paid £15 a ticket plus booking fees. So it was a decent deal. I even forked out the whole £3 for event insurance. So I figured it would be worth it. There was no way it was getting cancelled. How quick it sold out, mine. So
Yeah.
Was it 6 minutes?
6 minutes, yeah. It'd be that thing though, Black. Well, we need to move it. We're gonna go. We'll go to the domain.
An overspill show.
Yeah, it'd be like, well, we can only get like 250 people in, so like the first 250 bought tickets. You guys are in. The rest of you, just watch it on the network.
Yeah, it'll just be a 3-hour show of Charlotte going woo. I mean, said with the takeover, it's going to be a 2-hour show, isn't it? So
I'm hoping a bit longer than that.
5 matches, give each of them a bit of time. Yeah, probably, possibly
like
a 6.
You could see the Pete-Dunne match going 30 minutes on its own.
Well,
probably the same for the tag title match.
Women's match probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, those are like really talented people, and they've never been one for, giving us really short matches in the, on the British scene, really.
Well, no, they haven't. I mean, if you're just going on the last episode alone, they had a main event. I was watching it just before we came on air, and I was keeping track of time, because I was thinking, got to be ready for obviously recording. So when it comes to main event, like this, the main event of the show, and they announced it as the main event, I looked at the clock, and bearing in mind each show is roughly about an hour.
Yeah.
The clock said 29 minutes, and it's like, this is the main event of the show. I was like, what? You fucking what? There were no ad breaks, no nothing, and it was British Strong Style versus Gallus.
Yeah.
Main event, and it was fucking phenomenal. Absolutely brilliant.
Perk have been on the network, I suppose.
Sorry?
Perk have been on the network, adverts apart from, tune after Raw for the Edge and Christian show. Like,
well, this is it. Well, they do tend to have the odd, sort of product placement sort of thing, but it's literally for 20 seconds, and it's in between matches, so they don't interrupt the matches.
Yeah, that's the best thing. It's fantastic. Never in a match.
Yeah. I don't mind adverts as long as it's in between sort of matches. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, the bad thing is at the minute, or at least last I'd watched on SmackDown and Raw, they do it during a match, but then something really pivotal happens. Happens, and the match complexion completely changes, and it's like, oh yeah, this happened in the break.
Oh,
that would have been really useful to see 5 minutes ago.
It was even worse. Back. It was even worse 5 years ago though, because remember when they was pushing the WWE app?
Oh god!
And you used to always have pivotal moments happening in the matches during the advert breaks to make you watch it on the app.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember one particular match happened where it was I think Cesaro versus The Miz, and the actual finish of the match happened in the advert break.
But do you remember?
Just horrifying.
Oh, what was it called? Tout.
Yes.
I had a tout account.
We want you to tout in your response of who you think is going to win, and you have 15 seconds to do so. What?
Yeah.
It'll be like that scene out of Family Guy with the weatherman. What's happening? Rain!
Yeah. So who's in the match? Cena!
Yeah.
How?
It's literally
disqualification!
It's literally just a bunch of people just going, Cena wins! And it's like, right, we've shown 5 clips because the other 100,000 we received, we couldn't put on PGTV.
Cena wins! Who wants a dog?
We received 50,000 dick pics.
And they were all from Bunkle.
One for Big Fate to The Rock. But yes, the reason we're here.
Yes, the reason we're here. So on Saturday, for the first time ever, it's the UK Takeover.
Yeah, first UK Takeover for ever.
In Blackpool.
Woo! Hometown, baby.
At the Winter Gardens.
Good venue.
So I should start that again. It's going to be right here at the Winter Gardens in Blackpool, England.
Way, cheap pop, way!
And we're going to run down the card and give our predictions. But before that, we've got something happening beforehand, haven't we, lads?
We certainly have. We've a certain event that we've invited a certain Charlotte Flair to. Now that she's tweeted that she's flying in very close to Blackpool.
Yeah, it's only half an hour down the road.
Yeah, it's half hour up the road, just round the corner. Just like popping to the shops. Just there and back,
So, Charlotte, if you come in, Bunker will buy you a pint of Tangerine Dream. Or whatever you like.
Yeah.
No, that is not his ginger best mate.
Also available. But yes, Saturday, January 12th. Right here in Blackpool, England.
Woo! Again, another cheap pop, you're on a roll.
Well, I'm going for broke here. So, of course, at 2 o'clock. Yeah, that's right. No one's listening, so it's fine. Fuck it. We'll carry on. Shout out to OJ Simpson.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So, anyway, 1887, the Brew Room. Saturday, January 12th at 2 o'clock. We're having a Lost Art of Wrestling meet-up. Come down. We're playing some wrestling themes. We've got wrestling-themed beers on. We've got wrestling-themed food on. You can meet the LAOW lads. You can get a selfie with us.
Just might wait a few minutes for me because I can't get out of work. But I'll be there.
There's that, yeah. But me and Bunkler are available for selfies. Priced at £5 each.
I'm not charging people to take a selfie with me. I will probably look like death.
Bunker will pay you.
Yeah,
Bunker I'm not paying anybody anything.
Bunker will
unless your name is Pete-Dunne or Charlotte Flair.
Bunker will pay me £5 for every selfie you take. So please take plenty.
But yes, we'll be there. It'll be lots of fun. Before we all head down.
We'll be showing the more recent episode of NXT UK on the TVs as well. It's kid friendly, it's free entry, so come on down.
Absolutely. Should be barrels of laugh anyway, especially if you're heading to the show anyway. It's a perfect way to get into the mood for it.
And it's only a 2-minute walk away.
Absolutely. So he's actually on the same street. So You've got no excuse. You need to be in there. Looking at you, William-Regal, if you're there. Come and have a pint. But yeah, look for the three guys in the matching t-shirts, so you won't miss us.
Yeah, there were 3 guys sat there in bloody like Undisputed Era shirts. With the belts on the shoulders. We've all got the Undisputed belt on the shoulder.
Yeah, no, we are definitely not those people.
So, yeah, right. Let's run down the card, lads.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yes, sounds like a
plan. So, first of all, we've got... I'm going off what the card they've given us here is. So, if there's any unannounced matches that we can't currently predict on. So,
it'll be a surprise to us as well.
We'll do it at the show there and then just be like, we'll shout it out to people, the masses.
If you're listening.
Throwing business cards at them.
You're doing it like throwing them like ninja stars.
So first of all, we've got Travis Banks versus Jordan Devlin.
That's just a normal match, isn't it?
That's a one-on-one.
The build for that's been quite good. I mean, they've been backwards and forwards. It's like a patriotism sort of storyline where Jordan Devlin's like, I'm proud of my country. I live in Ireland. I come here for shows and then I go home back to my family, and he's teasing Travis Banks like, well, you came from New Zealand and you've never been back, sort of thing. One of the lines was like, his mum probably forgets what he looks like and things like that.
Jesus,
stuff like that. It's fucking brutal. I'm only ad-libbing. It's not exactly word for word.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you're not a writer.
Well, but yeah, it's sort of like he's mocking the fact that he's from New Zealand and he's not gone back and things like that. So obviously, as the weeks go on, Travis Banks is getting more and more and more pissed off to the point. Obviously, there's a match now at Takeover. And obviously it's two really, really talented guys.
Sorry, I was just going to say, from what I've seen, they've both been pushed quite strong as well. So I mean, I don't want to say future title contender, but they're going to be up there for sure.
Absolutely. I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think Devlin has had a title shot.
Possibly.
I can't remember exactly. It would have been a while ago, but I think he has had one. Not 100%. It might have been close. I don't know. I think he's been up near the main event anyway. They've been sort of like pushed just under the main event. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. It should be a good one.
I've not seen much of Travis Banks, I'll admit, and I think I've seen Jordan Devlin once. I might have seen Travis Banks all once or twice. I was never impressed by him on the Indies, strangely. Not sure why.
I've seen Travis Banks once, and that was at PCW Academy show of all places. And the one thing I vividly remember is he looked like Rapsy Nesbitt, and he stole my hat. So, but at the same time, he was really, really good. So,
I think I saw him at Progress, if I recall. So, because I didn't go to that Academy show. That was where he main evented, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was he main event? Yeah, I think so.
I'd say he was Progress champ for a while, was he not?
Yeah,
he when going into the UK tournament too.
Yeah, I believe he was. Yeah. Let's have a look.
So I'll be honest. We've not given a prediction on it.
I think Devlin's going to win it. Just because I've seen more of him, he seems to have been used a lot more. Like even in the early episodes of NXT UK, he was always in matches, whereas Travis Banks was being attacked backstage and stuff. So it kind of feels like he's been given a bit more of a platform to springboard off, so to speak.
Yeah, I think Jordan Devlin's had a lot more appearances than Travis Banks. I do see a lot in him. So I do, like you say, I think it's gonna be a competitive match, and they're both gonna look good. But I do think Devlin's gonna be the one that goes over.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, they're both. To me, they're both the kind of guys who are NXT UK for life guys as well. So like they're always going to be kind of pushed. They're always going to be pushed quite strong. They're always going to, be up and around that title area. But they're not going to, we're not going to see them, next week after Takeover be on the main show or anything like that.
No, I agree.
It's going to be NXT UK for as long as possible type of thing.
Say Travis Banks has got New Japan written all over him.
Yeah.
So,
he does. His offense is very it is pretty strong. It is British strong style, but it's striking based, which British strong style isn't. It is to a point, but you've got other things. There's a lot more to it than that. Whereas his is almost, I don't want to say Aleister Black style, but in terms of the kicks and stuff, it kind of is. To me, a little bit. I see a bit of that in what he does.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, I fancy Devlin to take this one.
I'm thinking Devlin.
Yeah, what do you think, Coxie?
I'm going to go the opposite and say Travis Banks.
Okay, how come?
Partially because you guys are both rooting for Devlin. And because I think there's, with him being like a former Progress champ and that, I think it's going to be one of them. He's going to get the push. So especially coming up like this year and that, I think it's going to be, you're going to see a lot of him progressing towards the main event, probably towards the end of the year. So
he could do. I mean, he offers something different to a lot of the guys on the NXT UK scene, at least. You know, and I say that, you know, I'm rooting for Devlin. I actually really don't like him, but I just think he's going to win. You know, I think, okay, you know, he's learned from Finn Balor and this, that, the other, but then get your own gimmick, mate. You know?
Yeah, it does look like Baby Balor, let's be fair.
It really does. It's Finn Balor with a big head.
Son of Balor.
Son of Balor, yeah.
The thing is, what's good about it is, yes, it gives him, like, it does bring prestige to him when you say that, when he's trained under Finn Balor, who was the first Universal Champion, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it does bring prestige to him, and you know, you say he's like the former Irish champion, and he held it for so many days and stuff like that. It's great, but don't come out in a leather jacket just because Finn Balor does. Don't do your little arms wide on the apron like Finn Balor does. Yeah. Be yourself. Just get away from that a little bit. Like he obviously has talent. He really does.
He's trying to get some of that shine, isn't he? He's trying to get the rub.
Yeah,
so,
and until they put him in a match with him, then, which down the line may happen, you know, as a special or whatever it may be, which would be really interesting. But, you know, until they do something like that, I don't see it. I don't get that rub from it. I get that it's rubbing me the wrong way.
Fair enough. So, yeah, we're split decision on that one.
Indeed. Yeah, it will be interesting.
Yeah.
So, next up, we got Dave Mastiff versus Eddie Dennis in a no disqualification.
Dave Mastiff's winning.
Now then, I've seen the like I say, I've seen the last spot. I don't know, like I say, how up to date you two are, but I've seen like the last few, and it's been very, very 50-50 booking. So it's sort of like there's no one really on top. We're saying that at the same time, there's only one of them that's undefeated. So, because this is what they're talking about, the build of being undefeated and who's the biggest monster in NXT UK. The problem is, as good as Mastiff is, he's got no charisma whatsoever on the mic.
And do you think Eddie Dennis does? That's a genuine question, because everything I've seen of him, I thought, what the fuck are you doing in a wrestling ring?
He's got sort of tall man syndrome, hasn't he? He's 6'6", and he's like, don't weigh much.
6'6", and he's built like a chip sandwich. In fact, I wouldn't give him the benefit of bread.
I think I dropped my connections. I think I was talking to myself.
Probably, because I didn't catch any of that.
Yeah, he just sort of eyes her bunker like sort of almost like he was interrogating you, like, so what makes you say about Eddie Dennis? And then just silence.
All right. Because I think it's because I'm on my phone. I've actually been on Wi-Fi and now switching to my data, so fuck my Wi-Fi. But what was the last thing you heard me say?
I pretty much said, you said Mastiff has no charisma, and I and you think Eddie Dennis does?
Ah, right. Right, so you did hear what I said. So you did hear what I said. But yeah, the last interview that, like I say, Mastiff did, it was like the pre-record. It was fucking awful. It's just something rubbed me the wrong way about him. I mean, I've seen promos of him where he's like screaming in the mic, but what I don't like it. It's like they're trying to turn him into like some soft-spoken monster, and it doesn't work for him.
No, I can see why that wouldn't work. But like I say, I look at Eddie Dennis and I just think you do not belong in a wrestling ring. You belong selling me burgers from a van. And that's no offense to people who do that, but they're trying to. Every match that I've seen him in, he's played the big monster heel, and you know he's beating up on smaller guys. And I think that guy has more muscle mass than you.
Well, he does, and
he could beat you up.
He's only a monster because he's tall. He's not got any real presence about him, and he just looks awkward in the ring.
Yeah, there is nothing threatening about him. If I saw him in the street and he was like, "Oh, I'm a big wrestler," I would drop him straight away. I wouldn't even be a second thought. I'd just be like, "You lanky streak of piss, fuck off."
He's just very tall with a very deep voice.
You see, I watched like the vignettes before he debuted, and
Vignettes are great.
Did you think so? Like, I thought
vignettes were all right.
If he was built like The Rock, like when he was a wrestler, then yeah. Even if he was just built a bit bigger than he actually is,
All I'm going to say is if you combined Eddie Dennis's promo with Dave Mastiff in the ring, that would be going towards, I'd say, watch out, Raw, because he's coming. At the minute, I can't see any of them going any further than what they are. Because what do you do with them? What they do, or how they've booked them now, that is literally it. You can't really put them up against other people in the division, like, I don't know, like a Mark Andrews, because it's not fucking believable.
Well, the only other person that I've seen either one of them kind of, I don't want to say feud with, but like they both, or at least one of them had a match with T-Bone, because they were kind of, when T-Bone first came on, they were kind of billing him like, he's the brawler who'll fight anybody type of thing.
Yeah, but he's a perfect size. He can work a match with anybody, though, Bone. So.
He is the perfect size. But if Eddie Dennis was built like him, I'd take Eddie Dennis more seriously.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree.
It's the problem I had. I went to the first Progress show they had in Manchester a few years ago, and he was on in like either the main event or like a multi-man. And because he's like 6'6", the lanky streak of piss, he's against guys like Mark Andrews in that way. It's also just like you're like the sort of the teenager in a fucking backyarder against all like the little kids like just kicking fuck out of them or whatever. Like,
yeah,
what is your place? Like,
it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. And I'm not trying to be offensive, but he doesn't look threatening for somebody who's that tall. The guys
he's awkward. He's awkward.
Yeah, he's incredibly slow. His movement is slow, and he just looks. He looks like he should be like 400 pounds. He's that slow, but he's not. It's like he has no athletic ability. To me, and obviously he must have some to be a wrestler and to have even got on as far as he has. But he doesn't look like he has any. He doesn't look athletic. He doesn't look threatening.
No, I agree. I agree.
If you're a good promo, be a manager. Because then it makes up for him looking not threatening and looking awkward in the ring. Because managers are awkward.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe, so that's just my opinion.
Yeah. So, who are you going for in this no DQ?
Mastiff. I don't think it's a question because he is undefeated. As well.
You see, that's why I'm going the opposite way. So that way they can continue the feud, because I can't see them really working with each other anyone else really at this moment in time. So other than jobbers, which Mastiff has done, which is Eddie Dennis has done. So it makes sense in my head to put Eddie Dennis over, take the undefeated streak away from Mastiff and work from there. I like Mastiff, but it makes sense booking wise to do it that way, especially in a no DQ.
Well, if I float an idea out there, what do you think to Mastiff goes over 2-3 weeks down the line, NXT UK has a match against Pete-Dunne for the title, gets beat, and then Mastiff goes back to doing not beating jobbers necessarily, but then we rebook Mastiff to do something a bit different. We try to make his character a bit more intense, during that feud, because now he's got something to aim for. He's got this title. he's undefeated, so he thinks he clearly believes he's going to win. Yeah, and then you can. I'm not saying you blow Mastiff's title shot quickly, but you then enable him to change his character a bit more to fit his look.
There is something else you could do as well, is do the mutual respect sort of angle after takeover, and they form a tag team and go for the belts.
You see, I'd buy that. I'd be fine with that. That's,
So
yeah,
I don't
I'd be fine with that, because then they can play the size advantage against whoever wins the tag titles.
Exactly.
So I'd buy it just because Mastiff is great.
Well, you've also got to realise who were in the tag team finals, and in a match between Eddie Dennis and Mastiff versus any of those two teams will be 100% believable off the bat anyway. So
yeah.
So that would work as well. So going forward, it could be fucking anything from this, if I'm honest. So
what are you thinking, Coxie? Tip the tables.
Tip the tables. I'm gonna go with Mastiff.
Okay. Any reason?
It's going back. I've not seen much of his stuff on NXT UK yet, because I've not had a chance to actually go back and catch up on it properly. But I think it's going to be, well, then, like, from what I've seen on the indies and stuff, and from what the bits I've seen of him on NXT UK, it's like he's more of a like, you've got Eddie Dennis, like we said, 6'6", lanky streak of piss, against Dave Mastiff, a man who will probably rip your head off and shit down your neck. And he looks like he's got his Vader singlet on, and he's got his, I've always been a Mastiff fan anyway. So, but I think if Eddie Dennis wins, it would be by fuckery.
Yeah.
Because we've been no DQ as well, especially. But I think if it is, if Eddie Dennis does win, it's going to lead into something off the bat for Mastiff. But then, like you guys saying, if he was to take on pete-dunne, lose to pete-dunne, I'd like to see him get really pissed off about it and just go on a things killing bitches. So Mastiff shows up and just murders people.
Yeah,
like Sid was doing when he had his whole little streak going.
Yeah, but that's it. It's really believable. Mastiff doing that. Eddie Dennis doing that. You don't believe it?
No, not at all.
So
I'm leaning towards Mastiff for that match.
Fair play.
I know I'm going to be wrong, but
I should be wrong.
I can't boo hard enough to boo Eddie Dennis out of that arena. I'm bringing my cowboy hat. I'll throw it, but I can't boo hard enough.
Well, that'd make you the hat guy now.
Yeah, it would. I pass the torch.
I can't get any more gimmicks.
I pass it on to a younger generation.
You're the man of 1,000 gimmicks.
There you go.
Fair enough. I may bring my hat. I'm going to bring my hat. You can't miss me. If I'm wearing a cowboy hat, you can't miss us, can you?
Absolutely. Neither could the people sat behind you.
And just to look like you're more of a cunt, we'll finger Hawaiian shirt for you as well. So everyone can be there around us and be going, for fuck's sake, it's that guy again.
He's back.
It's this fucking hat guy.
Oh dear.
We'll get like Paul, like a long black hair and some like big rimmed sunglasses. He can be Faith No More guy.
God.
Why not? Fuck it.
So, next up, singles match for the NXT UK Women's Championship. It's Rhea Ripley, the champion, versus the challenger Toni-Storm.
This is a hook, line, and sinker. This is Toni-Storm all the way. All the way. They're building the storyline like Toni-Storm. She won the Mae Young Classic. She could have picked any women's championship to go for, but she could have gone for the Raw Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship, NXT Women's Championship, but she decided to go for the NXT UK Championship because she lives here.
It's a good shout.
So she's going for that. There's also previous where Rhea Ripley beat her for the belt originally, so there's sort of like a payback sort of role, so it would almost be like 50-50 booking. In a way, if you got Toni Storm and she lost again, where do you take Toni Storm from there? You can't. You know what I mean? It's like, what do you do with her? And you've got this like it's the biggest star in the female division on NXT UK. I know Rhea Ripley's the champion, but Toni Storm is the star of that division, clearly. And I genuinely think Rhea Ripley, because she won the belt on a normal show, is there basically to be. It's unfair to call the inaugural champion a transitional champion, but I genuinely think she is that. She's there so Toni Storm can have that moment on pay-per-view. So I genuinely think Toni Storm is going to win it for them reasons.
Coxie?
Yeah, I think it's Toni Storm's match, isn't it, essentially, at the end of the day. I'd like to say it's going to be one of them, though. It's going to be... it's almost that thing of like if Toni loses, we riot.
It's possibly
because she is sort of white hot, isn't she? At the end of the day, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the UK, if not the world at the moment.
She's probably, if you can say a wrestler's on form, she's a female wrestler on form at this moment, despite obviously what's fucking gone on the past week or so.
Yes.
So
we won't discuss that.
Yeah, we will discuss that.
That's if we won't. But
hey? We won't. Good, because we support Toni. So.
And just to be different, I'm going to go against both of you. Now, I think Toni Storm's going to lose. And my reasoning for this is, as you've said, she's white hot right now. She's the best thing on NXT UK women's division, and she's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. But that is also why I think she's going to lose, probably through fuckery of some kind. And then we'll be on the main roster within 2 weeks. I
can see fuckery happening.
I just think that I don't think on a network only pay-per-view, I don't think Vince cares what really happens. Like, you look at any of the people who've just been called up from NXT, every one of them went up with losses.
You say that, though, but would he allow one of his main female talent to travel all the way to the UK just for a takeover show?
Yeah, you're
talking about Charlotte Flair.
Well, that's the other thing is that that leads me to think this is there could be some fuckery, and it could be a setup for Charlotte Flair versus Toni Storm down the line. One of the, I'm not saying at the next pay-per-view, I'm not saying it, I'm saying maybe at SummerSlam or, a big pay-per-view. You could build it so well, the rookie having to work her way up, having to fight to get a match finally with Charlotte Flair, who by then could have the belt back. And, it's Tony's rise from the ashes, so to speak.
Here's what I'm thinking. I genuinely think the reason Charlotte Flair's going is that, for me, when Toni Storm wins the belt, to give the belt a bit more prestige, I wouldn't be shocked if you saw Toni Storm on SmackDown in the next few weeks. And don't be surprised if you see Charlotte Flair challenging for the UK Championship belt. Not win it, but challenge for it. So I'll give it a bit more prestige. And I can see it happening.
I have an idea in mind of the fact Charlotte's coming in. So Charlotte comes in, Toni-Storm wins. Charlotte comes out, gives her the belt.
Yeah.
And then invites her to be in the Women's Royal Rumble.
Of course.
Because we're 2 weeks away or something from the Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can also, you think about it as you're talking. What Bunkler was saying about bringing her up to the main roster.
Yeah,
she's ready for it, because think about it. She's been in 2 Mae Young Classics. She's been around the UK division now for 6 months plus. Bearing in mind, don't forget when the TV taping started and when this, before they started showing them, she's been around a long time now in the developmental system of WWE. She's probably main show ready.
I don't doubt that she's main show ready. The only thing that puts me off saying that she's going to come in and win the Royal Rumble or something like that is she has a loss to the NXT champ already, and I understand why. I understand that she had to lose so that they could keep the belt on Shayna Baszler. That made sense. But for it to then not so much skip that, but kind of skip a build, so so to speak, on those shows, and then in 2 weeks who have come basically to have won the title on NXT UK and then have won the Women's Royal Rumble in 2 weeks. There's pushing people to the moon, and strapping a rocket to them and saying, "Win or lose, love, you're it."
I don't think if she does end up in the Royal Rumble, the Women's Royal Rumble, she ain't winning it. It's not by a stretch, but it'll be a nice surprise. Well, it won't be a surprise. I think it should be announced for it. But I genuinely think that she's probably going to be heading to one of the main rosters very, very soon. Whether she wins the belt or not, thinking about it now, I think having the belt and taking it over to America adds a bit more to the story. For example, there is a mini sort of rivalry, which I think would be the way to go with Charlotte and Toni-Storm if they do go that route. It would make sense, and it would also add, they had a bit more eyes to the product as well. So sort of an advertisement for the British product,
try and get more people to watch it.
And in that respect as well, I also think that Pete Dunne will be in the Royal Rumble as well at this rate, because he's already been acknowledged. He's been acknowledged on Takeover. You've had people from NXT appear in the Rumble and then just go back to NXT. So there's no reason why your longest champion in the modern era, as the so-called modern era, shouldn't be in that match. It makes sense. And it also would be a good advertisement to have 2 singles champions on a main show, and it would hopefully drag a few American eyes to the British product. So it would make sense in a way to do it that way. So for my full prediction, I am going to say I'm going to say Toni-Storm to win the belt, to have Charlotte Flair present the belt, and then either turn on her or say, "I'm coming for that belt. I would challenge you to come to SmackDown," or something like that. Go on the mic and say, "Right, I want you to defend that belt against me on SmackDown," and go from there. That's if Charlotte coming, it would be for a reason.
See, I'm still inclined to go with the Rumble route. If she's going to invite her to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, she could still appear in the Rumble and do that.
But it might be the main roster spot maybe because she was at She won the tournament Evolution, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, time will tell.
So predictions. I mean, I've said toni-storm. You've said Rhea. Oh, we've all said it.
I said toni-storm. Bunkle said Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, that's it. I'm
getting if you'll excuse me, tomorrow I'm off around Blackpool to go look for a leggy blonde. So yeah, any more on the?
No.
I mean, we've all kind of put our ideas out there, haven't we? It's going to be interesting to see who does win and who, where they go with the division, really, because it is pivotal to what happens. We're either running with toni-storm one way or another, but it's whether she goes to the main roster and how she goes to the main roster. You know what I mean?
Well, don't forget they are also doing tapings on the Sunday, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, the aftermath.
So that's going to factor it in.
Right.
For the next few weeks after Takeover.
Yeah.
But, of course, I'm stuck working. You guys, I think, are probably both working, so...
I've actually booked it off, but I'm planning on recovering, so...
Yeah.
Next up, we've got the tag team match for the inaugural NXT UK Tag Team Championships, which is some beautiful looking belts, aren't they, by the way, lads?
Yeah, pretty good.
Very.
So, and that's Moustache Mountain, Trent Seven and Tyler-Bate versus the Grizzled Young Veterans, Zack, Gibson and James Drake.
But they're not announcing them as Grizzled Young Vets, aren't they? Which is annoying me.
They're not,
it's on James Drake's attire.
Yeah, I'm just going off Wikipedia here.
Yeah.
And the fact that on the Indies, the Grizzled Young Veterans.
Yeah, but they're not announcing them in NXT, which is pissing me off because I know them as that. For me, Moustache Mountain don't need the belts. They do not need the belts. For me, it would make sense to give it to... Because if we're going by predictions that I've said, you've got a belt on a face. So it would make sense to have a heel change. So I'm thinking it's going to be Grizzled Young Vets that are going to take this. Mainly because, like I say, heels, they need a heel win. And I genuinely think they've got a lot of stock in Zack Gibson. And this is going to be his reward for what he's done, because he has been fucking nuclear this heat. Absolutely nuclear. I mean, the boos for him have been absolutely deafening. No matter where he's been, even in Liverpool, they were booing him. So, yeah, and they're a really, really good team, but they're experienced together as well, so that's to be expected. So, and it's another one of them tag teams that could work with anybody, no matter the size. Like, for example, you could imagine James Drake and Zack Gibson against the likes of, even if, my fantasy booking, if you had Mastiff and Eddie Dennis team up, you could imagine them having a sort of semi-competitive match, and it would be passable for at least the main, the NXT UK show on the network.
Yeah.
So yeah, in my opinion, it'll be a really good match. It'll probably go 25 minutes, maybe half an hour. And yeah, I think it's going to be Grizzled Young Vets that go over. Because main reason being, Moustache Mountain don't need the belts. And like I say, I think Zack Gibson needs a reward.
Uncle?
This is a hard one for me. I understand that Moustache Mountain don't need the belts. They've been NXT tag champs. They're probably one of the top tag teams on NXT. Well, there's no probably about it. They are one of the top tag teams on NXT, let's be fair here. They're two of the top singles performers even in NXT UK. You could say the same thing about the Grizzled Young Veterans, but I've not seen too much of James Drake in a singles push, so to speak. I cannot stand Zack Gibson.
Is that because not in a good way being a heel, or is it just legit you just don't like him?
No, this is Bunkle. Bunkle saw Zack Gibson in Future Shock when he still had hair.
Yep.
See, I remember Zack Gibson when he had hair. When he cut a few PCW shows. His first one was Tribute to the Troops. I think it was the first show at the Flag Market. I think he wrestled. Was it Carlito? He wrestled or something like that.
Possibly. Might have been a tag match.
Mastiff?
I think it was Carlito and someone. Yeah.
I remember
it was
Stephen
like
Flores.
him and another heel against Carlito and like Joey Hayes and Masters or someone.
Yeah, because I remember Stephen Flores saying he was going to use him again because he was like proper appreciative of actually being on the card. Because this was early in his career, and he was proper appreciative of being on on a stage as big as what PCW was back then. So, and I think he's improved massively since then, and even then he was good. And he was a heat magnet then as well.
Yeah, see, I just hate him. Like, it was crap when I watched Future Shock, and he was a face, which was even more annoying than his heel stick.
See, I've never seen him as a face.
You don't.
It made it stranger because of the fact he was a Scouser in Stockport playing a face with a massive bald patch and wearing pleather.
Okay.
Yeah, so, now you understand my hate.
That's a weird look. No wonder he's bald.
Oh, yeah, he looks better for shaving his head.
If you have a look at Cyanide, back before he actually put the mask on.
Oh, he's got bin bags for his pants.
Yeah, around that time, like when he took on that DVD Bunkle's got, which is a Mastiff Cyanide.
Yes.
Which is an amazing match simply because of Mastiff in it.
Yeah.
Doing a friggin' springboard moonsault.
Yeah.
See, I've seen a tag team of Mastiff and Cyanide, and that was insane. I knew it was at the same show, I believe. It was Too Good to Be True.
Yeah, I was there for that one. He did Cyanide did a moonsault, didn't he, I think?
He did a moonsault, and there was like a... Cyanide had one of Team Single on his shoulders, and he did like a drop kick Samoan drop combo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which is insane.
But then he went on to join World of Sport with a strange booking of, I'm going to put some guy on his back, then put another guy on top of him. But the ref's not going to count.
No, absolutely not.
And then I'm going to do a running splash, and I'm somehow going to win the match, even though technically that's not how wrestling works. But booking...
Absolutely. That's not his fault, though. That's fucking ITV.
But I digress.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So Gibson was originally Zack Diamond.
That name rings a bell.
No idea. I think I saw him briefly somewhere before, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Can't remember or blocked out your memory.
Probably blocked it. I've been drinking tonight, so. It's. I've seen him in I've seen him in Future Shocks and in Progress and in PCW. Never been overly keen on him. His heel stuff's good because he can literally come out and be like, just call everyone knobheads because he's a Scouser. And especially when he's a heel, he proper puts on the accent and all that sort of thing. But I've just never been overly sold on him in the ring. But I'm guessing he's probably, I've not watched much of him since, but I'm guessing he's probably gone leaps and bounds because he's opened the school, he's got the Fighting Spirit School with James Drake and all that sort of thing. So, plus, been James Drake been a hometown boy.
Absolutely. You got to support your home. You got to support your boys. Come on.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm trying to get past it because I think it is obvious. I think, like you say, they they are going to win. They, you know, there is. I don't. It doesn't make sense for them to lose.
But you also
Sorry, I just had a thank you, darling moment. I got to put a brew in. So I had to go.
Shout out to Xander there. Yeah, shout out to Xander there. But
shout out to Xander. Keep up the good work. -2 to worry about. I was going to say with James Drake, of course, the hometown boy.
Which is another reason why I think the belt might be put on him.
The lad I used to train with.
So there's a special place there for you.
There is, but it's one of them. I sort of, it was in my head. I was like thinking about it before we came on, and it's like you both said, like Moustache Mountain don't need the belts.
Yeah.
And I think if it's a strange one because I think it's if Moustache Mountain win, then I don't see Pete Dunne walking out of Blackpool with the belt.
There's that. There is that. It's
because they're not going to have British Strong Style do a clean sweep of the belts.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You basically make your heels look a bit. Well, it would make them look weak across the board.
Yeah. So basically, you can say if Moustache Mountain end up winning the strap here, then you know for a fact that Pete Dunne's losing.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
I can't see Pete Dunne.
If Pete Dunne loses, he's going up. I think he's going to be end up at SmackDown. I think he'll get moved up.
I don't want him to be though.
The other way I can see him doing it though is again it's got to go into this Rumble thing because of course R-Truth got number 30 in the Rumble. Because they won the mixed tag thing, and there's rumours going around going, oh well, what if someone takes out R-Truth, which could happen before his spot, and I think it's bound to happen. And it's going to be, well, who did it? It's going to be like, well, number 30, where's R-Truth? And it's going to be like the 4 or 5 guys left from whoever else, and then they're going to play his music again, nothing. Oh well, we know number 30. And then you're going to hear Pete Dunne's music.
It would work, and I'd like it.
Yeah, I'd love it.
That'd be if he loses, but then you'd have to bring him in as a heel.
Yeah, I don't mind that. He's better as a heel.
He's a tweener anyway. Because he's a face who uses dastardly tactics to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm just gonna bend your finger back. That's an illegal move. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. He's a face who uses his dastardly tactics to win. He is pretty much the definition of a tweener. It's just he's from the UK and we all love him.
He's the bunkle of the podcast world. Just we don't love him.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, what we're saying then? I don't mean it. Yeah, so yeah. I'm gonna go with despite what we've just been talking about. I think. Oh yeah, we're going with the tag belts, aren't we, at the minute still? Yeah. I'm going Grizzled Young Bears.
Yeah, I have to agree because, like you say, the Moustache Mountain doesn't need it. They've been NXT tag champs. You know, they can float across multiple shows. They can do singles matches. They don't need it. They're, you know, and it'll be a good boost for the heels, and it makes us more, you know. It makes us buy into Zack Gibson and James Drake a lot more with them belts on.
But if you're going with the previous booking and what we've done, obviously the exchange of belts, you've got one belt on a face and one belt that's on a heel. So it leaves the main. How the fuck are they going to book this?
Well, you see, you guys have got that. I've got 2 heels. So in my booking, Pete Dunne is an obvious winner. Now, I can't see anything that would dissuade me against that.
I would say we're moving on to the main event.
Well, if we're talking how our bookings,
we've gone for a clean sweep for Moustache, not Moustache, for the veterans, haven't we? Drake and Gibson. So yeah, we'll move on to the main event. Pete Dunne versus Joe Coffey for the belt.
Pete Dunne has to win.
I think Pete Dunne is going to go over, but there is going to be fuckery with Gallus, which is guaranteed unless they get involved with the tag match. So
they'll get involved in the tag match. They'll get involved in the tag match, and they'll cost British Strong Style the belts. Moustache Mountain the belts, and then they'll try and cause fuckery in the main event. So British Strong Style will come out.
Yeah,
make the same.
And it's going to lead to a 6-man tag or whatever on the aftermath shows.
Yeah, definitely.
Which, to be fair though, that's only just happened on the Go Home show. So unless it's a no DQ or something.
Yeah, to be fair, you could do it to for the lone thing of building, where are these guys going to go after this? If Moustache Mountain lose and Gallus lose, it makes perfect sense for them to then feud. And okay, I know there's British Strong Style connections and so to speak, but Pete Dunne can move on to his next challenger.
Yeah, which is more than likely. I reckon it's going to be the winner of the Devlin Travis Banks match.
Yeah, it could quite conceivably be, and it would be great. Do you know what I mean? I don't think. In fact, I have never seen Pete Dunne in a bad match. I've never seen Pete Dunne.
Yeah, I've not seen a shit Pete Dunne match.
No, even matches where he's been almost sidelined. I think that the worst match I've actually seen him in was War Games.
Even that was phenomenal.
And that was great. I mean, you know what I mean? For what War Games is, it was great. I've never seen him do anything wrong. I've never seen him. I can't think I've ever seen him make a mistake. The matches with Tyler-Bate were. I mean, the one at Takeover was unbelievable. The second one.
Well, it won match of the year, didn't it?
Phenomenal, yeah.
He is the guy. He is the man. He is the. He's obviously, you can't say that he's the top of the sport because he's not on the main roster, but he's
easily best in the UK all round
by a country mile.
Yeah,
Tyler-Bate's good. Don't get me wrong, he's really athletic. He's got great charisma, blah blah blah. But he's a big strong boy. He is a big strong boy. But
yeah,
you put them next to each other, and the presence of Pete Dunne is undeniable.
Yeah, he just oozes stardom, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, he's got it all. He's got his, he's got the press conferences. Did you see the press conference?
I've not seen the press
conference.
It did.
When they do when they do the contract signings for the match.
Yeah.
That was last week, and Joe Coffey is just rabbit into him, and all of a sudden Pete Dunne just grabs his hand, snaps his fingers as he signs it. He slams the pen down. He grabs his fingers, snaps his fingers, and he literally just picks the mic up and goes, "You talk too much," and that was it.
Perfect.
So it's
like from Oscar there. You talk too much.
Exactly.
Just kicking fuck out of him.
Yeah. But to be fair, Pete Dunne ended up going through the table, but at that moment, it's like, wow. He just comes across as a badass. He didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
He just says, yeah.
That's perfect for Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. And I've not seen anything of anyone in Gallus to make me think that they are anywhere close to his level.
It's just three big lads, but at the same time, it works because it's just three big lads. That's all they are.
It's three big lads who I don't think are very good in the ring.
Joe Coffey can throw a promo. He can do a promo. Wolfgang, I've never been a fan of, and I've not seen enough of Joe Coffey Mark Coffey to form an opinion.
The thing is, in the episodes I've seen, all they've done is gone, oh, Wolfgang, he's 250 pounds. You don't want to be like, deal with his swanton. It's like, right, okay. And it's like, oh, Mark and Joe Coffey, they used to be rugby players. I was like, I can tell because they look thick.
But at the same time, that gimmick's been used before with Cesaro, which has all of a sudden been forgotten about.
Well, exactly. But if you look at Cesaro's look is very, very different to these three lads.
Yeah.
And he has, again, though he's always going to be a tag team wrestler. Let's not pretend we've got any high hopes. I don't see anything about any of these three dudes that's like, yeah, top star. I'm gonna tune into NXT UK to see this guy defend his style.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine someone like, I could imagine the group Gallus maybe eventually getting called up. But for the only reason to fill out the numbers and be like a supplementary tag team.
There'd be Sanity.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect example.
Sanity were spectacular to a point in NXT. They lost a little bit too much for my liking, but they always seemed threatening. They always seemed, like they would do something interesting. But then they've gone to SmackDown, and I've not heard a peep.
No, I agree. Yeah, it's a bit they're a waste there. But
it'd be the same if they called Gallus up, and I wouldn't mind. But you were asking Americans to understand what Gallus means, for one, and that's no disrespect to Americans, but it's not a widely used word. Do you know what I mean?
No, it's Gaelic for something. I can't remember myself. But yeah,
I did hear it tonight, and I can't think what it meant.
But yeah, it's for the main event. It's going to be an absolute barnstorm, where it's going to be about half an hour.
Oh, here we go.
Bold, cheeky, or flashy? I've got Scott Bold or daring, reckless, stylish, impressive.
That's not any of them.
No. In late Middle English, it meant fit to be hanged.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Of course it's gallows.
That's what I've just read, anyway.
They use it as the Scottish definition, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's I've got here, according to Urban Dictionary, it says affected swagger, braggish attitude, and misbehaviour.
They are none of those things.
No. No, I agree. None of them things. So on that note, yeah, Pete Dunne's winning.
Yeah, definitely.
Pete Dunne's winning. He's keeping all of that belt. And the next time we'll see him.
Well, I think Pete Dunne's also winning because we're gonna start to send the crowd are happy, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I'm calling that. So yeah, Pete Dunne all the way. Can't see any other. I can't see any result. I can't see any result.
Yeah, there is no other option unless like you say, unless he's going to be number 30 in the Rumble and beat Brock Lesnar. There is no other option.
Yeah, because he's got an interview to say that's what he wants to do is to beat Brock Lesnar, isn't it?
Yeah,
so.
That was really good. It was a really good promo, actually. Yeah, I'll fight anyone. I'll fight Brock Lesnar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't give a shit.
But that's his character, though, isn't it? He don't give no fucks.
I completely believe you, and I completely believe that you can win. Yeah.
Can you imagine Brock Lesnar selling the finger crack, though?
Going bright red.
Yeah. He'll get gas just from doing that. Just the thought of it.
Look out, it's Tomato Man.
Yeah. So, how hyped are we for Saturday?
Very much so.
Very much.
No, so. I'm more looking forward to the pre-show meet-up we're doing.
Yeah.
Right here in Blackpool, England.
Wait, that's the third time.
At the 1887 Brew Room.
That's
On
the
Church
one.
Street. 2 minutes up from the venue. Up the hill. On your
Really,
right.
really nice craft beer. Named
Yeah.
after wrestlers.
For one day only.
But it might be
Come
the
and get
Sunday
your
as well.
Roman Reigns dogs.
It might be the Sunday as well, yeah. Yeah, go have a Roman Reigns big dog. Or one of Drake Maverick spuds.
Why not? Have they got all the graphics ready for it?
I'm hoping so. I've emailed them over to them on like Sunday, and I've not had anything back yet. So, but here's hoping.
It'll be good fun if we go in and we've already done it.
Oh, I'm hoping so. Well, I'm getting down for just before it starts to set up.
So expect me around about 4 o'clock, I reckon, at the latest.
It's alright. They got me and Bunkle from 2. So
Yeah.
There you go. That's all you need. You say that's a starter and the main course. I'm just the indigestion.
So yeah, come down, chat to us about wrestling, talk to us about the event, give us your predictions if you want, have a beer with us, buy us beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have a half. Save your money.
It's Tia Murray and Lucas Aid for Bunkle.
Absolutely not.
It's a Parma Violet milkshake for Coxey.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
If you buy him a drink, he will have to drink it. So just bear that in mind.
That's
Parma
right.
Violet.
Bunkle.
And if he doesn't, I'll beat him down and hold his mouth open while we force feed him.
You won't, because
I'm such a happy soul.
you forget who pays you.
Nobody pays me.
Here's a question for you though: have they cleaned up the foot salt since last time we was in there?
The foot powder, yeah.
Foot powder, yeah.
Yeah, they clean that up, thankfully.
Yeah.
So, I was tempted to buy Christ some more, but then I figured I'd play best not doing, because they'll do the same thing again.
Just don't get anything sort of that Christ can spill next time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That might help. So yeah. NXT UK Takeover Blackpool. Should be a good one. If you're not there, get it watched on the network and yeah. Get it done.
Yeah. Right back. Let us know
Pretty
your
much.
thoughts. Let us know your predictions.
Yep.
Yes.
Or tell us on Saturday if you're there.
You can
Yeah,
challenge
tell us
us.
in person. Yeah, tell us in person.
Bragging rights.
Absolutely.
In some cases, tell us and we'll tell you why you're wrong.
Yeah. Quite happy to do so.
Oh dear. So yeah, before we wrap up, there's something else we need to cover, gents.
Okay.
We'll go on.
Who's just buzzed?
With me. I don't think he was.
Hello.
Did you just buzz? Is it the wife?
No.
That's all right then. A certain little company starting up apparently this year called AEW.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Go on.
as Andy will say, on you go.
Well, it's backed by a certain I forget his name, but he's a rather wealthy man, and
It's Tony Khan's son.
There you go. But he's the owner of the Jackson Jaguars.
He owns the Jacksonville Jaguars in
And
the
Fulham.
NFL, and he owns Fulham Football Club over here. And he recently tried to buy Wembley for 900 million, I think it was.
Yeah, and they turned him down.
Jesus.
And they turned him down in the end, but which I thought was stupid.
Because he was going to allow England to play there.
Well, it's not only that he was going to allow England to play there, but it was basically a lease. So he was offering you 960 million, with the option you can buy it back for less than 200 million. So at any point, if they were unhappy with what he was doing or anything like that, they could literally just say, no, we're activating our buyback clause and buy back for 150 million. Now, if you've got 900 million to throw around and then not really care if you lose nearly 700 million of it, you've got a lot of, buying power. You've got a lot of money to play with here. You know what I mean?
But is it going to be? It's whether he's willing to put all that money into a wrestling company from scratch, though. I mean, I know he's got a lot of. I would like to say big names, but if you've got, for example, back in 2010, I was casual as casual can be, and the wrestling that I knew was WWE. I didn't even know about TNA. I didn't. No idea about ROH or anything like that. No idea about New Japan. So it's rarely you're talking. This AEW is tapping into your hardcore wrestling fan, which is a niche market as it is. Now, his money is based in sports that have a big following. For example, American football and soccer, or football in this country, both really big markets, whereas wrestling's a fraction of that. Now, it's whether he's willing to, put a proportionate amount of money in to make it a success to even TNA's level. I'm doubtful of that. I'm really doubtful of that.
I think the difficult thing about it is it's his son's project. He's just backing his son to do something. Now, his sons have been involved quite a lot in the running of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I believe at least one of them holds quite a high post, within the organisation. But the thing with the NFL is you can't really lose money, because all the money that comes in goes into a pot and gets split equally.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no losing money. They have a cap as well. So again, if one season you don't spend all your cap, you have that money. So that's how they can afford to build $2 billion stadiums and stuff like that. Just even like the poorer franchises, or what are classed as poorer franchises, because the person who owns them doesn't have as much wealth as the others. Do you know what I mean? But one guy's got 2 billion, the other guy's got 30. It don't really matter, does it? And I can't see him backing it to the point where, like, he's backing Fulham Football Club or like he's backing the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't think that they are at any point going to be interested in taking on the WWE, even though they would have the finances to do so. I don't think it's possible to take down a monster that's already that big.
What you also got to realise as well is the McMahons are a wrestling family, and they have been for generations. This is a guy that's doing this on a passing whim, and if he gets bored, he can pull the plug and tell everyone to go home. The McMahons aren't going to do that because that's their life.
Yeah.
That's all they've ever known. So they're not just going to go and pull the plug and everyone fuck off now. They're not going to do that.
I mean, there's another way to look at it as well. The McMahons are never going to do that, but the McMahons are actively involved day to day running that company.
Yeah.
They are the producers. They are the final line. Your final line is Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Billy Gunn's your producer.
Yeah, you mean the top guys in it are what? The Massey brothers and Cody Rhodes.
Well, that's.
I'll give you a rundown here.
So they're not in control of the purse strings, are they? Whereas the McMahons obviously are.
Yeah.
I'll give you a rundown of the hierarchy. So we've got it's been bankrolled by Tony Khan.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's serving as president. Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, will be executive vice presidents. Billy Gunn is a backstage producer, so I'm guessing there'll be more. Brandy Rhodes is chief brand officer.
Oh, we've got to give her a job somewhere.
Exactly.
That's everything currently.
So there you go. I mean,
that tells you enough, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you got
brand officer is guy's wife who's involved.
Yeah.
Other than being married to him, and before being married to him, what's she done?
Wasn't she like a backstage interviewer for WWE or something?
But that's what I mean. Even if she was, I can't confirm or deny that because I have no idea.
Something's telling me that anyway. I could be wrong.
She was.
Yeah, but the main thing that concerns me about this is everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. Everyone's already, jumping the gun. It's like this is going to be a massive success. It's going to rival WWE. It's going to put WWE out of business. Well, hang on a minute. They haven't got a roster yet. The people they're chasing are still under contract and there's offers on the table to go elsewhere. How do you know those offers aren't better, despite people saying, "Oh, this offer's worth X amount, and this, that, and the other"? You don't know that. It's speculation.
Exactly.
They've not even had a show yet, not had a match yet, and people are like, "This is going to be a WWE killer." No, it's not. They've got two shows planned. I
wouldn't go as far as saying it's going to be a killer.
But if you listen to some of these smarts that are on the internet, they're insisting that it's going to be a killer.
If you read some of the posts and listen to some of the podcasts out there and whatnot, they're saying this is it. Everybody's going to leave WWE and this, that, and the other because they're going to get they're going to have medical insurance and this, that, and the other. Right? Medical insurance hasn't been confirmed yet. The reason the WWE doesn't do it is because it costs a lot of money. It probably costs more to have them insured than it does paying for the surgeries.
It's not that though. Think of it this way as an example. The company Lidl, for example, in this country, they pay a higher wage than you would in another shop. But the reason for that is I think you have to pay your own income tax.
Yeah, you have to work it out and pay it.
Yeah, so therefore you end up working out as the same amount, but on paper it looks better because they're earning more per hour.
Yeah.
It's possibly the same because WWE do pay their people a decent amount of money. People in NXT are on, $40K a year, for example, bare minimum. You're telling me that they can't pay, right? Well, normally someone in your situation in developmental would normally get, I don't know, $35,000 a year. Use the extra $5,000 to get yourself some medical insurance.
Yeah.
That's potentially what WWE are doing. Is saying, look, you get your own medical insurance. If you want to save some money and get a health insurance that doesn't cover as much, that's on your own back. But it's nothing to do with us. And that's WWE who's washing their hands of it and saying, look, we give them extra money to do what they want. It's in their hands at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, it's like you look at the reported offerings for Kenny Omega. That's the latest big name, isn't it?
Kenny Omega, yeah.
And he is. Don't get me wrong. He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. And anybody who is I don't want to call him a diehard wrestling fan, but anybody who watches multiple wrestling shows,
dedicated,
yeah, knows who he is. Anybody who watches WWE and only WWE has no idea who that guy is.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I believe, a wider market of people who only watch WWE programming than there is that watches everything else.
Agreed.
So, the reports of WWE have offered him X amount of millions and creative control and blah, blah, blah. It'll all be smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that he's got a lot of money. But he doesn't have the American following that AJ Styles had from his work in America before his work in New Japan. He doesn't have the following in Europe that Finn Balor had before or during his work in New Japan. He has a great following in Japan, yes, but so do a lot of wrestlers. Mm-hmm. And you look at how their careers have gone. Shinsuke Nakamura was the biggest thing in Japan for years. And you look at his career now. Yeah. He still got brought over to NXT and had to work his way up.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega's going to turn down this deal, apparently, and go to AEW because they're offering him more money. He doesn't draw in America to be worth that money, especially if you're only doing 1 or 2 shows. Like even if they were doing, like they said, that it's going to be a reduced schedule for all the workers who work for WWE and whatnot. A reduced schedule could mean anything.
Just for clarification here, it says on this thing, it says Tony Khan's quoted as saying, AEW talent will have favourable schedules. I don't want to run down guys with too many dates or too much time on the road.
So this basically means they're going to be running about 12 shows a year.
Or keeping it local.
That's going to be a lot. Yeah,
they're going to keep it local. Then maybe go right. We'll do a Western tour. We'll do an Eastern tour or something like that, and then we're doing home shows.
So we're doing
more likely.
So we're doing NXT, but paying them millions of dollars. Apparently,
wouldn't surprise me.
Is it me, or does it sound like everyone's just circle jerking around leaving Cody Christ here?
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, it's an indie mark circle jerk. That's all it is. And it's all it's going to end up going to be. It's going to amount to nothing. If they take on the WWE, I'm sorry, they're going to just go, right, we'll tell you what, you see what your offer is, we'll fucking double it. And they can afford to do that.
The only way I can see any sort of competition happening would be if they got, like, WWE moves to Fox from, is it USA they're on now, or NBC?
Yeah, USA.
So they're on USA, so yeah, they leave USA, and then all of a sudden, like, USA's like, we need a wrestling program. We don't want TNA though. They're has been. What is AEW? But I wouldn't take on straight away. It's gonna be like 5 years down the line. Like, right, we'll have a look in now.
You can say the problem with that is you're gonna have to try and make them mainstream, and unfortunately, the mainstream only know of WWE.
This is the problem I was saying to you on the group chat the other day, with Billy Corgan taking over NWA. Yeah. And he had this idea for his TV show, how he wants wrestling to be and look and all that sort of thing, and how the idea he had for the TV show. And he's pitched it to TV execs and stuff, and they've gone, well, that's not wrestling though. So, it is. It's wrestling as it should be, or how it's going to be in the future, or how my company's going to be. Yeah, but we want like WWE style. And it was like, no. And then they just go, yeah, well, we're not interested then in that case.
When you say that, it's a very niche market then, isn't it? It's like trying to sell old school World of Sport over there.
Yeah. Well, it's I mean, what's that company that I was listening to a podcast about? I think is it PWG or something like that?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
And they do one show a year with limited tickets that I can't remember if they're free or something daft. And they do one show a year, and it's they're supposed to be some of the best matches you'll ever see, and this, that, and the other, and the Young Bucks have been on it, and this, that, and the other. But it's a very niche thing.
Yeah, it's a who's who of indie talent, isn't it?
Yeah, it works for that one show a year. And bear in mind, it's basically free, from my understanding. You know what I mean? You're trying to build a market on this. Look, a prime example is, look at NXT. They showed an episode of NXT. I think it was after an episode of Raw 1 week on, I can't remember if it was Fox or USA. So low viewership for Raw. Is it what, 2 million, 1.8 million?
Go 2 billion, yeah.
Yeah, go 2 million. The episode of NXT did 860,000. If my memory is correct.
And that's an on-demand service, so that's actually not bad.
But that's what I mean. No, not. They played it on national television after an episode of Raw.
Oh, okay.
So to try and see if they could basically work NXT onto a TV network. But you think about how crap Raw is compared to how good NXT is, but you lose 1 million viewers. And that's because people don't watch anything outside of the main WWE product. There is a massive amount of people that only know this product and only watch this product. They don't watch anything else. So you can sit there and say, oh, well, I've got Cody Rhodes. You mean the guy who was Stardust on SmackDown in 2006? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know, they've got the Young Bucks. Who are they? Because they've never seen TNA. They've never seen New Japan. To me, that's where your issue is. You know, for somebody like me, who I consider myself to be a casual fan, but I know what I want to see. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown because I don't want to see that, and I don't like it. I do watch NXT, and I watch NXT UK because they have the matches and the storylines that I want to see. So this show would interest me, but it's not going to interest those people who watch the main WWE product.
Yeah, to which point I don't think it's going to make enough money to sustain the contracts that they wanted to sign.
No, but that's why they've said they are hopeful of signing the talent to full-time contracts.
Which, if they do that, though, it'll be a money black hole.
It will be. It'll
be a money black hole.
It's another WCW. Or even TNA. TNA, you know, Panda Energy flushed millions of dollars down the toilet trying to get that thing started.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's going to be... I think it's just going to be another wrestling money black hole. And I hope I'm wrong. Because the mainstream wrestling needs competition of some description to raise its game. It really does, and I just can't see it happening with this because it's a guy that's never done wrestling before funding it, and if he doesn't get instant results, I can see him pulling the plug straight away.
Because they're not going to stand by and just lose money.
No.
I think it's going to be one of them. It's no doubt that they'll have a plan going into it, but like, right, here's our 5-year plan and all this sort of thing. Like, the rumours I've heard, like Jericho signed a 3-year deal. Cody's like saying, I've looked at my contracts. It's like there's more years on this than the WWE contract because he's like, I'm in this for good or whatever.
Well, for his sake, don't go tits up then.
Kenny Omega's deal WWE pitched him, from what I heard, was akin to, was it $4 million a year? Or something like that. Plus his own like dedicated gaming YouTube channel or show or something.
Apparently a guaranteed WWE title run as well.
Guaranteed run, yeah. Something else. Merchandising, something else. There was essentially like they offered everything he could want to bring him in. And
even ice cream bars.
just to fuck it to Punk. We'll do you a Kenny Omega ice cream bar. Right, yeah, okay. So it'd be daft to turn it down, but at the same time, it's like Pac, Neville, whatever you want to call him. He left because he wasn't happy. And as people have said, he's one of those guys that he's not in it for the money. He genuinely loves wrestling.
There he is signing a massive contract.
So, yeah, if Omega goes with AEW, he'd be smart too, I think. But at the same time, it's like he's their big star at the end of the day. Like,
but if he's a guy that doesn't do it for money, do you not see AEW being a sideways step? Because you know, if he wants to make a legacy for himself and he wants to make a big name for himself, you know, for the future, you know, I mean, who's going to know who he is casually? You know, if he comes back to America and he wants to make like a living off his name, you can't do that right now because not enough people know who he is. If he went to WWE, he could build sort of like a legacy, you know, so he could like make a name for himself.
It is that thing though. They offered him a 3 or 4 year deal, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
WWE did. So it's like 3.5 to 4 million a year for like 3 or 4 years, and he's 35 now.
So he's in the peak of his career, which makes sense. If I was him, I would go for that tenure, make my money, and if you want to go and work for Cody Christ, wait. That way you can know you've got guaranteed income in WWE, and if you see AEW taking off, you can badger Cody Christ to let you in.
At the end of
and
the day,
you know for a fact he will.
He will let you in.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You look at guys like Finn Balor, like AJ Styles. AJ Styles is a bit different, but I suppose he's in exactly the same position that Kenny Omega now finds himself in. And he could have stayed in New Japan and stayed having, these fantastic matches over there and this, that, and the other. Or he can come to WWE and earn 2, maybe 3 times what he was earning over there.
Yeah.
And you got to look at it this way. You have a limited shelf life. Your next match might be your last.
This is it. And do you not think...
Kenny Omega must realise this.
Yeah. And you got to realise as well, the way you're talking to someone like AJ Styles, the way he's been booked and the way he's been portrayed and the way he's wrestled and, his overall performance, as much as I didn't like AJ Styles because of what happened,
yeah,
I acknowledge he is a fucking supreme wrestler and he's fantastic on the mic and there's not one chink in his armor when it comes to wrestling. And do you not think in the short time that he's been in WWE, I mean relatively, he's done everything a lot of Hall of Famers have done. In fact, he's done more than some Hall of Famers have done.
Definitely.
He's built himself in that amount of time because, towards the tail end of his career, potentially and arguably a Hall of Fame career in a very, very short period of time. And, no reason why Kenny Omega couldn't do that.
The other thing for Omega going to, if he goes for All Elite, is I can see they'd use him as leverage to try and get a working deal with New Japan.
Oh, yeah, because they'll dangle him like a bit of bait on a hook and say, look, we've got him, you want to use him, work with us.
Well, because, spoiler alert, he lost at Wrestle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
He lost the belt at Wrestle Kingdom to Tanahashi, was it?
No, I didn't. Not seen Wrestle Kingdom.
I've not watched that match yet, but I've heard the results. And he did like his thing after, like the press conference after whatever. He's like, I'm taking a hiatus from New Japan.
So it's goodbye for now.
Pretty much. Like, I think his contract's up the end of this month.
I
think on the 31st. And
all I'm going to say is...
Yeah, it was Tanahashi.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is if he signs for WWE, I can see WWE paying off the last few days in his contract and being a surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble if he signs for WWE.
I wouldn't be shocked.
And then he could be the next guy after AJ Styles that did Wrestle Kingdom and WrestleMania in the same year.
Yeah.
So it puts them on a parallel then, doesn't it? And then you could have a feud between AJ Styles and Kenny Omega on SmackDown, and that would be off the fucking charts, and it would be. The thought of that makes me the inner indie wrestling fan in me salivate. Notice Bunkle's gone quiet.
No, I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Bunkle's just stroking his thighs in anticipation.
Yes, exactly. So,
thinking himself, he's like, you bitch.
You could imagine that going into WrestleMania, couldn't you? AJ Styles, Kenny Omega.
It'd be amazing.
It would be absolutely
for WrestleMania 35, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it'd take a year of build where they start as allies to begin with, and then tension grows. Whereas because AJ Styles has had the strap, he hasn't, and then obviously if you put the strap back on AJ Styles, and then you could have Omega win it at WrestleMania,
that
would blow the fucking roof off, in my opinion. Yeah, everyone will bust out the Bullet Club t-shirts. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. If he wins it that way, it's one of them. I think long builds always tend to pay off.
Yeah.
Especially if you do them right. If you do the long build and then they'll just lose in the end, it's like, well, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
But if you do it right, they're always going to pay off. And somebody like Kenny Omega, I mean, I read somewhere that they were going to give him creative control. I think he's smart enough to understand that.
I heard that, but then I heard that was retracted. Basically, some dirt sheet had thrown that on.
Right.
To make it seem like it was leverage.
I could believe that he would have had some sort of creative control, like certain direction, whether he wanted to be a heel or whether he wanted to be a face, and work that way. As for having like belts and stuff like that, there's no way they'd put that in a contract. No way. But maybe storyline sort of, to some respect, I can see that being put in contract where he does have a say, but not the final say. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So we can have like, obviously the head writer would get the main final say, but he can have a heavy sort of input into his story and try and have some weight behind his to get some of his ideas across, maybe.
Yeah. I could even see it being where he has a clause in his contract where if he's unhappy, he can leave. And then and it's basically, look, this is where I'm at. I'm not happy. Notice.
Like an annual
I'll work last 4 dates or whatever, and then I'm out of here. And I can see them giving him. I could see them actually giving him something like that, just because of who he is, and he is the next big thing really to come over from Japan.
Yeah, I agree. So in closing on that, because I need to go bye byes and go to sleep. On closing on that, in my opinion, I think you'd be stupid not to come to WWE to build a lasting legacy that he can, after he's finished his days wrestling, he could potentially give himself a Hall of Fame career, get a Legends contract, live off that for the rest of his life, live on appearances where the mainstream wrestling fans will know who he is. Because if he ends up going to AEW and it flops, because let's be honest, it's a new company, it's a risk. And if he ties himself into a contract, he's fucked. He's not going to be able to get the chance to do that if he's at age 35 now. So for me, the safe bet, and I think he should be playing it safe if he wants to make a name for himself and actually be someone in mainstream wrestling, is sign with the WWE, whether people like it or not, and just enjoy the fucking roller coaster, because he might not be there for that long.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree.
So that's my thoughts on it. Sign with WWE and see what happens. You never know; it could be the greatest thing ever. It might not. We won't know unless he does it.
Part of me thinks that he's going to go. Omega's going to go the route of Sting, I reckon. Like, he's going to just hold off signing.
Yeah, but Sting fucked himself over there, in my opinion.
Cost himself a lot of money.
Yeah. To be ended up there ended up being there anyway. And the only reason he ended up there and being there was because TNA was such a fucking mess. Let's not pretend he wanted to be there. He was there because he wanted to make some last bits of money before he retired. And it was and he couldn't do that in TNA because it was a fucking mess. Let's be honest.
Yeah, don't remind about Joker Sting, for God's sake.
Exactly. Let's be honest, he probably signed a contract just before that and couldn't get out before then.
Or Abyss in the Ring.
Yeah.
I feel it, Hulk. I feel the power.
Yeah. He all of a sudden turned into Percy Pringle, but oh well.
So
dear.
yeah, it's an interesting time for wrestling.
Indeed.
I'm hopeful for AEW. I think it's going to be one of them, but it's going to be. I hope it's successful for all involved.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be. If anything, it's going to have to be a very slow burn, a very slow process.
Definitely.
Yeah, people get bored of it quick. End of the day, if it ends up being like a massive thing overnight, you're not going to get that following. You're just going to have a massive like sort of influx of people, and then I think people just end up dropping off because of the hype. And we all know what happens to hype. It fades.
Yeah, it does.
It'll end up falling away like TNA did, because WWE already has the history, already has their foothold, and it's a safe bet. That's how much of a stranglehold WWE has. The fact that any other company can't even get a permanent TV deal. Look at TNA bouncing around TV channels past, 5 years?
Yeah, but they kind of did that themselves, though, by the fact they've had shoddy booking and God knows what else for the past however many years.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so has WWE at times, that they've still managed to appear on major TV channels, whereas TNA haven't. On the fucking, was it the Pursuit channel now in America? You know what I mean?
Like, what is that?
Exactly.
You look at WWE though, and they're sort of, there's consistency, and they'll sort of, they've got these deals in place where they've got the major networks and the advertisers and all that sort of thing. And you've got TNA where, yeah, we'll have our champion show like off his tits on whatever substance, have him get beat in minutes, and show it all on TV. Us like breaking kayfabe to go, yeah, just finish him quick, beat him,
yeah,
and all that sort of thing. Of like, then Sting pins Jeff. It was like, Jeff's going, what the fuck was that? And then some guy shouts, that was bullshit. To which Sting replies, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
On one of your pay-per-views. And then
says it all.
They're wondering why that they're losing, they can't get a TV deal apart from like Pop, whatever it was.
It was Pop.
Like, the other day, like, you got Monday Night Raw, and they tried Monday Night TNA, which, of course... It died in its arse. It's like, right, we'll do Tuesday. Well, no, SmackDown's on Tuesdays. Right, we'll move it to Thursday. Oh, no, well, Thursday night SmackDown now, mate. Oh, well, I'll tell you what, we'll try Friday. Oh, no, look, SmackDown's moving network. It's now SmackDown on a Friday. We'll go on Pop. Right. So there's only so many times you can flog a dead horse, I think is the term.
Yeah.
Like, bloody Dixie Carter like didn't do much to help it at the end of the day. Let's face it.
No,
and Jarrett and Russo and everyone else. There's multiple factors, and then.
But that's the problem, isn't it? There's too many. You know, at the end of the day, she didn't know what she was doing, so she got as many people in who she thought knew what they were doing to come and do it.
And they just used her.
They just argue with each other, and then you end up putting out shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think AEW will go that way.
Yeah, I'm going to say I can't see AEW going, right, yeah, we need someone to have some booking. Bring in Russo.
The problem with that is as well, you've got to realise as well, you bring in a lot of people who've got egos, and at the minute, up until AEW got started, they were working together for a common, sort of like working together. But then all of a sudden, if say, for example, they're getting creative differences, this is when you're going to get friction. So it's... especially if they're booking for other people, which they will be doing. So it's another factor that people seem to like. Obviously, everyone's jumping on their dicks, thinking, right, oh my God, the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes are going to be creating this, that, and the other. But who's to say they're not going to have creative differences and it's going to cause friction and it could go tits up like TNA? You never know. You could throw all the money in the world, but if you book it wrong, it's going to be shite.
Yeah, completely agree.
So, All I'm going to say is wait and see. See who else they bring in. It's the fact that they've got fucking Frankie Kazarian and what's his name?
Daniels.
Yeah,
Christopher Daniels. Yeah. On the actual roster should tell you that I can't see it doing anything. I genuinely can't. I want to be wrong, but I can't see it happening. And that's the end of it for me. I want it to succeed, but I can't see it happening.
Yeah,
there's too many hurdles. Too many hurdles. It'll hemorrhage money to the point where the financial backer will just go, nah, fuck this shit. How do you think people got rich in the first place?
Yeah.
It's me, Austin. Oh, sorry. It's me, Cody. It was me all along. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. What do you guys think is going to happen with AEW? Do you think it's going to compete with WWE? Do you think it's going to put them out of business, or do you think it's going to completely fucking pop? Let us know.
I don't. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you guys think as well out there. Because we're all pretty unanimous in how this is going to go. It'd be quite interesting to see, if people can sway our opinions.
Absolutely. I'm just waiting for the re-debut of Stardust on SmackDown. That's all I'm going to say.
The one now they use it as a throwaway character like they did with Sin Cara.
Oh yeah, Stardust. Oh, it'll be Poochie, won't it? Stardust will be Poochie. I have to go now. My planet needs me.
They'll just pick some random person, or like they did with Suicide. But yeah, you're Stardust tonight, and Velveteen Dream's going, why me? I was like, hold on, I'm black.
Doesn't matter. Oh dear.
So yeah, anything else to add, boys?
No, I think I'm done.
Right. Yeah.
Just looking forward to Saturday.
Yeah. So once again, you can join us Saturday at the 1887 The Brew Room on Church Street in Blackpool, England. Right here in Blackpool, England.
Wait, that's number 4.
From 2 o'clock onwards, we're playing some wrestling themes. We've got wrestling themed beers on, wrestling themed food, milkshakes. It's child friendly. It's free entry.
Yeah. And
Come
if it
on
goes
down.
well,
There will be, and hopefully live shows, but we'll talk about that. We'll be the 3 guys in LAOW shirts. Grab a selfie with us, whatever, and then head down to the show with us. And just come and chat wrestling, have a good time.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
Sweet. All right, so Bunkle, give yourself some plugs.
Yeah, if you enjoyed hearing my voice as much as I enjoy hearing my voice, you can listen to me on the Gunpowder Treason No Plot podcast, where I play the Dragonborn Paladin Rogar. And you can find them on all good podcast providers, and you can follow them on Twitter at TreasonNo.
Awesome. And for the record, Bunkle isn't on the Gunpowder Treason No Pot podcast either.
No.
What happened? We smoked it all.
Yeah.
Paul, give yourself some plugs.
Yes, you can find me at UKRAD Podcast on Twitter. You can also find the podcast on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, and wherever else you can find really good podcasts, such as the one you're listening to right now. You can also follow me as Steve the Betrayer, where you can find me on Twitter at SteveGTMP. Or is it, yeah, it is Steve GTMP, I believe.
It is.
I can't remember. Yeah, Steve GTMP, where you can read about me wanting to rip Tommy's throat out. Because he shot me, the bastard.
I'm envisioning a Colosseum at some point.
1, 2 men enter. 1 man leaves. 2 men enter. 1 man leaves.
Are you the People's Front of Judea? Fuck off. Otherwise, I use the Judean people's front. Fuck off, where the people from Judea.
Just hear Rogar in the background. That's my fucking glaive.
That's my ball. It eats people.
Nobody will ever take that from me.
Hi, I'm Steve. Welcome to Jackass.
To be fair, one thing I did find today, I found a guy doing Baby Got Back on the banjo. Yes. Yes.
So Bunker gets home. So what did you do today, James? Well, I watched a guy on YouTube play a song on the banjo. What song was that? It was Baby Got Back.
Your point being, sir.
I can just imagine you telling
you,
Coxon,
sir.
Or a broom.
I could just imagine Coxon listening to this, and then you're going to get a message on WhatsApp, and he's going to tell you, in your skills, Baby Got Back.
Does it have advantage?
I'm saving it. I'm going to break it out.
Oh dear. So yeah, that has been the lost art of wrestling, and I've been your host Coxey.
I've been Billy the Boy Bunkle, who's not called Billy.
I've been TFG.
With the thumbs.
Yes, the thumbs. The thumb guy. Can't spell thumbs like that. Today.
I meant like the thumbs like the RVD. I'm like TFG.
Oh, right. Oh yeah. I'm too tired to get references right now.
And this is the show where I ask, who better than Canyon?
Everyone delights to spend their summer holiday down beside the side of the Silvery Sea. I'm no exception to the rule, in fact, if I'd my way, I'd reside by the side of the Silvery Sea. But when you're just a common or garden Smith or Jones or Brown, at business up in town, you've got to settle down. You save up all the money you can till summer comes around. Then away you go to a spot you know, where the cockle shells are found. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. I do like to stroll along the from, where the brass band plays ding-dong-bong. So just let me be beside the seaside. I'll be beside myself with glee. For there's lots of girls beside. I should like to be beside the seaside, beside the sea.
This podcast is part of Britpod Scene, an independent network of uniquely British podcasts that's always growing. Check out BritpodScene.com or BritpodScene on Twitter to find out more.